Hotep, Hotep, greetings of peace. My name is Ram Hotep L. I'll be broadcasting on behalf of the number 13, ScienceAstrology.com. I'm your master of ceremony. I'm your host on this particular episode, this segment. Getting ready to get into the free, that's right, I said the free spring equinox ritual. I'm going to just go ahead and throw it up on the YouTube, give it to all the listeners and fans and things of that nature. We just ask that you spread the word, spread the love, show some appreciation by just passing this video on or whatever. So that's all we ask that you do, on behalf of 13ScienceAstrology.com. So we're going to get into it. Just going to kind of build on, I kind of came into this whole, I guess you could say, fourth dimensional movement, because that's what it really truly is. It's a fourth dimensional movement. It's a movement of the mind. It's a revolution of the mind. It's a changing of the mind. Everything that we're experiencing right now on this planet is happening from the mental realm. That's what's really the whole internet and this whole cyber world is really the movement of the mind and the fourth dimension. And a lot of people, they don't understand that. They want to, get physical. They like, oh, I want to see you. I need to, touch you. I need to, exchange energy on that level. But we can exchange energy on the mental realm. And that's something that, is really not understood, but it's going to have to be understood in this new energy, because this new energy is kind of like, it's a starting back over from the very beginning of when we first started really coming to this planet after the experiments in the Anunnaki. And once we first started coming to this planet, this energy is kind of like, I guess you could say, similarity to that energy that was present or whatever, that newness, that new feel or whatever. That's really what's going on. But now it's like a re-beginning or new beginning or reseeding of the population this time around. But this time around it's a reseeding of the population, and it's going on a mental level. So this time we start over, but it's like we're starting over from the fourth dimension, whereas in the beginning, when we first mastered the experiments and began to have babies and produce on this planet, we were starting from the physical realm at that particular time. But now we're moving into the spiritual or the fourth dimension or that mental realm, that realm that you can't touch, but that realm controls everything that's going on around you, and it drives a lot of people mad because it's not carnal. It's not physical, so they can't get off and do a lot of shit that they was doing in the physical material world, or and really what was really the illusionary world, the matrix world, which is really the illusionary world, and the mental world is really the only true world, because this is where the die is set. This is where the stage is set. This is the behind the scenes, which is really the real world. And this is why reality TV is becoming a part of the real world now, because people are tired of seeing the play. Because that's what the third dimensional world is. The third dimensional world is the play, the act. If you meet me in person and we speak in person, you're not going to be real. You're not going if we do an in-person consultation right now, you're not going to really want to open up to me the same way as if I was on the phone, or if I was coming through a computer or through your camera or whatever, because of the fact that I'm there physically. You're picking up on my vibrations, so it's anxiety in the air. You're picking up on my emotions more. You're going to start to act like the way that you're actor. You're going to put on your actor voice. You're going to put on your little mask, and your ego is going to come out. So I'm not going to really get a chance to really read you and get to know you, because now I got to pierce through the ego and all of that. So I feel like when I connect with people this way, it's like I'm cloning myself in this world. But when I connect with people this way, it's like you're your real self. Because I'm talking to you in your mind. You're probably sitting here watching this video. Some people may be watching on a big screen television with all their boys and popcorn, but a lot of my videos, you may be sitting in a room or just laying in a bed with your phone and just watching this to yourself with your headphones on. So I'm connecting with you mentally. So it's like we're building a relationship that way. That's why I choose to do it this way. So let's get into the ritual. Why even do a ritual? Why even just do a ritual? Who cares about rituals? Why don't we just live our life and just go home every day and watch television and eat popcorn? And why don't we just go to work every day and don't think about anything outside of things that are influencing our direct reality? And why don't we just stay in our little box? And why even do rituals? Because the reason why you want to do rituals is because rituals are very powerful. See, rituals is really how the world vibrates or moves around. If it wasn't for rituals, this world wouldn't rotate. If it wasn't for rituals, this world wouldn't move. Literally, because every aspect of what's moving this world is involved is doing a mini ritual. So anything that's involved in controlling and manipulating and influencing this world is a part. It's ritualistic. So rituals are very important. We don't know that. We don't realize we do rituals in religion. If you pray 5 times a day, you are participating in ritual. You pray religiously. So, I mean, rituals is like if you believe in, say for instance, you go to church every Sunday. That's a ritual. You go to church religiously. Or, you know, you go to church ritualistically. When you go to church, on certain Sundays, you're going to drink of the blood of Christ. You're going to eat of the bread. So you're going to do certain churches. I know every church is not doing this, but, you know, I come from a Catholic background, so I mean I know a lot about a lot of different religions. My grandfather, you know, my mother, and all of them, they were Catholic, so you know I realized the communion or whatever they call it, you know, that's done ritualistically at a certain point in time in various different churches. I mean, if you were to practice the Jewish faith, you would take part in the Shabbat. You would take part in this ritualistically every Saturday, or every Sabbath day, or every Saturn day. So this is all ritual. It's just what the rituals that I do, and what I specialize in is I specialize in rituals for nature. So we're all in a church. Like, don't get it twisted. A church just means a circle. So I understand that. So we're all a part of this big universal circle. That's what the universe is. It's just that everybody has a different part to play within the circle. So I played a part of helping people understand the universe, and I believe the universe is God. And I do believe that God, which is the universe, has a son, which is the son of God, which is the universe. And the son, we're going to go into that. That's what this ritual is about, because on this particular ritual, we're going to talk about the son of God, and we're going to talk about the universe. We're going to talk about the feminine energy and what it really is. We're bringing this in. How are we going to operate economically up under the feminine energy? How are we going to how's the feminine energy going to come in when we still have a mixture of energies from the old world? This ritual is going to address all of that, because a lot of that needs to be cleansed off the planet. So the reason why you should even do a ritual is because you are, for one thing, you're offering your energy to a higher source, and you're doing an alchemical exchange. Really, you're offering your energy to a higher source in exchange for more energy, and not only just more energy, but a better quality of chi and inner chi. Now you have to remember, when I say you're offering your energy, like, what do you mean offering more energy? There's different kinds of energy. I'm going to show you can do a lot of stuff as far as how you're going to make your offering to your ancestors. I'm going to show you the concept of how to do a ritual. That's what this whole video is about. Of how to do an altar ritual, because that's what we're going to go into. So you should always do rituals. You should always pay homage to that which came before you, because that which came before you is really the only truth. That's the only thing that's real. See, all of this other stuff about, we can say, well, God this and God that, and I understand. I'm not knocking your religion. But at the same time, I'm saying that really at the end of the day, it's all about your lineage. Even Christ, in the Bible, they give his lineage. Why did they give his lineage if it was all about God, his father, and they telling you who his mother's lineage, and they tracing him back to his mother's side? Why is this going on? It's because of the son and the mother. So this is the spring equinox ritual time. So what kind of ritual should we do during this energy? That's what I'm going to go into now. What kind of offering should we make to the ancestors? What does the spring equinox represent on a metaphysical level? Now, the spring equinox time takes place when it marks the time when days and nights will become even, or equinox. So this is when the day and the night time is even. And this marks a time when we have to bring balance to our lives. We have to become more balanced. This represents a time where time shifts. Just a week ago, some regions had what's called daylight savings time, where they deal with that whole time system, shift system, where they spring the clocks up during this time and they set the clocks back during the fall time or whatever. So the clocks just went up. So time is shifting. We're going into a new time. This is the spring equinox ritual. This represents, as I talk about every year, I talk about this, that this represents the resurrection of the Christ, of of the Christ energy. This represents Christ coming back from the dead. So this is a renewing. This is a new energy that's coming to this planet. And this spring equinox ritual is one of the most important rituals because this is the second time since the new energy has come into play that we've had a spring equinox. So this has been basically, this marks the end of the first year, really. It's based on spring equinox time since this new energy has come into play. Now, what new energy am I speaking about? I'm speaking about the new energy that I spoke to you guys about that. See, back in 2012, the world did end. Everything they said was going to happen, happened. The world ended and the world stopped on December the 23rd, 2012. And now the world is picking back up under this new energy. And it picks back up under the spring equinox ritual because this starts the new. So this begins the new. So in order for you to begin the new, you got to do away with the old, with the bad habits. But the thing that's happening is that this marks the second year. So we've completed 1 year. And so we have to make some observations now because we've been through our first year. What was last year about? Are we progressing in this new energy as a world? And we have to say that we're not, because we're still battling each other. There's still wars going on. Yeah, the feminine energy is here, but we can't really introduce and bring in unlimited progress because we really haven't mastered our lower self. We really haven't mastered our separate self. You know, shout out to all my fellow subscribers out there that subscribe to the Law of One. We're going to be doing a lot more informational teaching on the Atlantis teachings and the teachings of the Law of One. Me and a particular counterpart of mine are working on a concept right now as we speak. So got a lot planned, but let's continue on. So we really haven't mastered our separate self. We really haven't mastered that part of ourself that is alive below the navel. So this is why basically we have to do this type of ritual that I'm about to show you guys. Because last year it was cool, but you notice we had the Boston bombings last year around this time, and then this year we got some buildings blowing up in Harlem. We got the war in Ukraine this year. Last year was the war in Syria, or should they go and bomb Syria? It's always like some type of war going on because people don't want to accept and play their role and understand that yes, this is a game, but it's a fourth dimensional game, and it's coming from the fourth dimension. So your situation in the third dimension is a prerequisite of what's going on in the fourth dimension. And until you understand that, you have no control here. You have absolutely no control. This goes for anybody. I don't care what position you wear, what title you wear. This goes for anybody, king on down. Everybody has a role to play. And it's a game, but it's done up when it has rules. See, every game has rules. And the thing is, right now we're in a state of chaos because we haven't set the rules. We can't set the rules because we haven't cleansed from the old cycle. So this year, I noticed that the spring equinox is coming in up under a waning moon. So I taught about waxing and waning when I do my yearly videos and stuff like that. But what does the waning moon mean in reference to the spring equinox ritual? This means that we need to do a cleansing. When a waning moon, when you do rituals up under a waning moon, you're doing rituals to make something go away, to cleanse something, to clean something. So a waning moon represents yin energy, feminine energy. A waxing moon represents yang energy. So you go plant a seed, you go out and you do something. So up under the yin-based energy, we want to cleanse this planet. This is what I want to see happen in this planet. We want that negative, disagreeable part of ourselves. Everybody just deal with yourself. Don't think about the world. See, because my thing is, we're going to change the world with this ritual. But you know why we're going to change the world with this ritual? Because we're going to change ourselves. And that's why we're going to change. I know that's a basic principle, but the thing is that we don't understand it because we don't operate off of it. It's a basic principle, but we wouldn't say we want to see things change, then we might automatically go out and start looking around for stuff to change. Like, oh, let me go try to change Tom, let me go try to change Dick, let me go try to change Jane, Sue. What about you? What about Mike? That's your name. What about Jamie? Why not change Jamie? You see, so the thing is that we have to focus on changing ourselves, and this is really serious. I'm serious about this because we exist in a collective realm. It's called collective consciousness, And it's almost like, look at it like this. Look at it like, for those people that study electricity and electronics, look at it like a circuit board. Look at it like a circuit board. And if one wire is going wrong or something goes wrong within an electrical system, it causes everything else to go out of whack. If one thing is short circuit, it eventually will cause everything else to go out of whack. So everything needs to be operating properly so that you can use the right type of energy, so that your light bills won't be too high, and so that basically the system that you have set up so you won't burn and catch on fire. So if one little wire is short circuit, or or goes out of socket, or and it could cause a fire. One person. So this is the thing that one person can change themselves though at the same time and make a big old situation become better. So my thing is that even if I just reach one person with this video and they do this ritual and they change themselves, you become better. So what you want to do is that we're going to talk about altars, because altars is really the basis of really ritual. Like if you really want to get into basic, real life metaphysics and spirituality, everyone should really have an altar at all times. But at the same time, we're not all in those situations where we can have that, because we got some people that feel disrespected if they see an altar. If they come in, they see a bunch of stuff set up. You may live with someone, your mother, your parents, and they feel disrespected. Like, what you doing, devil worship, boy? You doing that hoodoo, boy? You better not be doing. You're supposed to believe in God. You doing that hoodoo, that voodoo? So you can't set that up or whatever. So then a lot of people, they may control their environment. They're private. They don't really want a lot of people to see what they're doing. And, you're gonna always have the all-seeing eye gonna always be looking at you. But outside of that, like you don't want just everyone coming in and people that's coming in and out your house looking and shitting on your altar and messing up the energy of your altar. So I understand that, but at this time, even if you got to break it down and set it back up, I'm going to show you the basis on how to set up an altar. And you need to be paying homage during the spring equinox ritual. And I'm going to say this. The spring equinox ritual, you can do this, set up this altar and do this ritual, this type of ritual based off this altar that I'm going to show you. You could do this ritual even after the spring equinox if you're watching this video after it. Because you have up until April 17th to play this out, for this ritual, this energy to play out, to make your offerings, and the things you need to make. You even have up until the new moon, because some people may not want to do the ritual. I'm going to switch. Like what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up, and when the new moon comes, I'm going to do a different type of altar, set up a different type of altar once the new moon comes. So in this particular part of the spring equinox, because it lasts for a long period of time, the whole spring equinox energy, the spring has to come all the way in, which doesn't happen until we go into Aries. So that's what I'm saying. Up until about April the 17th. Or really the 18th is the last day of Pisces, going into Aries. So then that's when we go into the fire, and that's when everything, as far as the weather changes, the trees start blossoming and blooming, and it really starts to look like spring outside. We transform this place. So if you do this ritual right, you move with nature. So we're making offerings to nature here. That's basically what we do when we talk about doing rituals. Like, we're making offers to the universe. The God is the womb. So you guys understand that. So now I'm going to go into the altar. See, like a lot of people, they get married on the altar, and you come before God. When you get married, whoever you believe God is, you come before God, and usually there's someone there to give the offering away, which is the woman. I mean, it's an offering, and the man is like casting his bed, type of thing, and you guys are coming before the Father or God to do an exchange, really. Is what it is. It's really an exchange, and to sign a contract and to commit to something. So the concept of having an altar is the same way. Like, you're coming before you build your altar, there should be a part of you on your altar, then there should be a part for the gods. And that's what I'm going to go into now. So I'm going to kind of like show you my altar and show you how it's set up. I'm going to break it down for you. So. Guys aren't going to be able to see this. Bear with me. So this is my altar. This is my altar. This is how it's set up. Let me kind of show you from the whole scope. That's a lot of objects on there, as you can see. But everything there, even though it may look chaotic to you, this is organized noise, boy. Everything on here is very, very organized. How I have this set up. Now, I'm going to show you each particular object and kind of tell you what this object means to me, because you should be taking notes, because this is what your altar is all about. So let me get to a point where I can set this up so I can talk to you guys without holding the camera. I'm going to start off with this. This is my little green candle. And as you guys can see, I have that sitting. We can set this up so you guys can see this better. So I'm going to hold this. There we go. Okay, so this is going to look a little different on camera, but this basically I have it set up as on a long table. Some people dress their tables. You know, some people put cloth and all that type of stuff. I didn't do that because you guys know I do a lot of moving around and things of that nature. So just kind of set up a basic altar, but it definitely is kind of deep actually. I'm going to break it down to you. So we're going to incorporate all the elements to this ritual, and I'm going to explain to you how all the elements are being incorporated into this ritual once I show you each particular object on my altar, because I kind of want to show you guys my altar. So I have candles set up, and these candles that are set up, they're in a 5-pointed, basically a pentagram shape. It's hard to tell that now. A lot of my objects on my altar come from crystal blue, so shout out to crystal blue. You guys know who you are. My partner's crystal blue, so a lot of my objects come from there, so everything's compliments of crystal blue. I mean, I bought it, of course, but I'm saying, you know, these guys they have some really good art. So, and I plan on actually doing a video there at some point. I'm going to go ahead and do a shooting there soon. So, but anyway, so these candles come from there. So basically, I got like a green candle here, a pink candle, 2 pink candles actually, a yellow candle, and a black candle. And the green candle represents money, abundance, wealth. The pink candle, one of the pink candles represents friendship, love. My other pink candle represents actually love. The other pink candle represents friendship. The other pink candle represents love. So got the love candle. Then I got, and these are programmed for this. So I program each and every one of my candles. There already been pre-programmed complements of the candle makers, but I even do, when I do my ritual work, I always program my candles at all times. I always carve things into them and things of that nature. So these candles are programmed. I got another one for laughter. You know, because this is something more, I want to bring more laughter to my life. Because, you know, a lot of the higher yogis and spiritual mystics, they teach that laughter is a prerequisite to spirituality. Laughter is just like sex. Like, that's that part of spirituality that most people don't realize. Like, you have to laugh at times. I mean, you got to be serious, too. Don't get me wrong, because seriousness is a part of spirituality, too. But, you know, you got to laugh, So I have that. Now, let me go into showing you how this is set up. Now, this point right here, this is the top point. This is the top point, and this is kind of like where it stops for me. So this is all of this is my offering. Where these cups are going back, this is my offering to my ancestors. These represent my ancestors, these statues. I'm going to go into what these statues mean and what they represent to me in a minute, and why I even chose these statues, because I have other statues, but I chose these particular statues for a reason. So I'm going to go into that in a second, but I'm just kind of showing you everything. So my candles represent that. Now I have a lot of different crystals here lined up. And I have my crystals. It's going to be hard for you guys to see this going on here because they're being covered. But I got like jade here. I got a lot of jade because my ancestors, they like jade. Jade is like one of the universal stones that they like because my ancestors, they like a lot. They like abundance. They like a lot of wealth. They like nice things, but then they like to feel protected. We come from a very unique bloodline. Everything that this jade represents for my ancestors because, I mean, you have stones that protect you, but then they don't bring abundance. Jade is awesome because it brings everything. So that's what my ancestors like, so that's what I offer them. Now, this is kind of like a game, though, the way I got it set up. So I got my lapis lazuli. This is my necklace. I have to offer them something that dearly so that they will give me, in exchange what I'm asking for. So this means a lot to me. So I have my necklace here. And you notice I have these $20 bills here. And the reason why I have these $20 bills here is because it's not about the money, but I'm making an offering based on a number to them. And I have these pennies. I have a penny sitting on each $20 bill. And this is my offering. This water and everything is my offering. So I'm going to make an offering to my ancestors. Ashe. Ashe. Hedu. So I just made an offering. Let's make an offering on this side. Ashe. Ashe. Hedu. So you can get, like, this is your altar. So even though it looks all neat and all that, you can get, like, gully with this thing. Like, you can, I mean, I don't know, like, where you're at, your house, or wherever you're at, wherever your setup is, but you can kind of get, like, you could throw stuff on, or you could throw water on the altar. I mean, I know you don't want to mess up your stuff, but I'm saying, like, really, the ancestors, even though you want your altar to be straight, they don't care when it comes to that water. They like water. So you offer them water because this ritual represents a cleansing. So they even got some water behind them. There's water everywhere because of the fact that we need a cleansing here on this planet. This planet needs to be cleaned. It needs to be cleaned spiritually and it needs to be cleaned physically because we're diluting the planet and we're messing up the planet. And we've brought a lot of the old energy into this new energy. And the goddess says she's not going to come out. This is what she told me based on when I was meditating in front of my altar, which I'm going to show you in a minute. The goddess was telling me that she wasn't even going to come out because of the fact that it's too dirty. Like, she was like, I'm too good for the earth right now. So she doesn't even, the energy, she still really doesn't want to come out because, we got the masculine energy, and it ain't even just the masculine energy, it's just people in general that are messing it up for this abundance that we can really get to this planet. Like, we really have the ability and the potential right now based on where we're at to experience unlimited progress right now, like to the point where it would never have to be another time where there's a depression. It's hard now, but if we can get this right, there would never have to be another depression on this planet. We have the solution now. Like, the gods gave it to me. There's other people that sharing the solution. I know the solution is to fix a lot of the problems of the planet, and that's what I'm making my offering really based on. I'm not going to tell you everything that I'm making offerings about as far as like the intricate aspects of this ritual, but one of the things that this ritual is about for me is that giving me the ability in this world and opening up a lane and a way for me to really bring the ideas of unlimited progress to this planet and giving me an outlet and a gateway to do that. And I think I found a way to where not only can I bring the ideas of unlimited progress to this planet, but I want to be able to see results while I live. So, so when my children get older, this problem will be fixed in one generation. Like, our generation right now is the generation to be able to just fix this problem of greed and, and this whole, they call it the American dream or whatever, like this whole dog eat dog world type of thing. That needs to, go away. Wars will be fought. I understand that, but wars have to be fought more sophisticatedly. There's an art of war. People need to research the arts of war. Fight the art of war, not the emotional war. So that's what's going on right now. So yeah, I've made a lot of water here because, I want to see, I'm asking for a cleansing. I'm asking for a balancing of all the elements. I'm incorporating fire into my ritual when I do it. I mean, I'm going to be lighting the candles, each candle. When I light each candle, I make a wish. I ask for something to be granted. Based off of the energies of each candle, I ask, for the money candle, I ask for a certain amount of money or whatever. So for the love candle, I'm going to be specific about that because you guys know I think I attracted my twin flame. Now I'm just working on bringing it all together, so I'm happy about that. So, I've attracted my twin flame and trying to bring that together. Then I got the friendship. I want to bring more sincere friends into my life that don't care about money and that aren't money hungry. Because if you want to make it on a level to where we're talking about unlimited progress, so we're talking about the equivalent of setting up an economy that's worth trillions of dollars. If you're talking about setting up an economy that's worth trillions of dollars, you can't be greedy. at some point you have to get over money. I know people are like, but I don't have any money and all that, but you need to change your ideas. That's why you don't have money. You need to change the way you think. People don't have money because of the way that they think, and period. So this economy that I have in mind, because this is all about economics, that's what my altar is about. And that's what this whole ritual is about, because it's bringing in the advent of Horus. And they name it after Horus, but really it's about asset, or the asset. So you got Heru and Horus, and they have to go together. This represents masculine and feminine energy. This represents the son and the mother, the son of God. The mother is God. So she, right here, this is God. To me, in nature, she represents the universe. She has the sun over her head, if you notice. She has the sun over her head. She's holding an ankh, and she's standing at attention. She is the executor, and he is the beneficiary. Heru, the sun. This is why he's gold. He's the king. This is the Falcon King. And this is his mother, and they stand there, and even though his father, which is actually in the underworld, who is Osiris, he represents the father. The son becomes the father because the children will be the ones that will make it into the particular kingdom. That's already been taught in the Bible. So when they were saying the children, it was really talking about Heru. So this is the new world. We're in the kingdom right now. This is where we're at. So this is what this altar represents. So they are rich. They have everything. Why are they rich? So this is all these crystals represents wealth. They have everything. And I'm offering my little petty fiat notes, which is still energy. I'm offering, you know, my candles and my fire and my water and all of this, because I'm trying to get basically a mandate or get granted something from the gods. I'm trying to get a land mandate, because I realize that this is nothing but paper. I need land. This is what I need to be able to exist in this new energy. Everyone needs a land. So if I need land, that means I need to know who I am. So I'm asking for different things. I need to know my nation. I need to know my ancestry. I need to know my star history. I need to know as much about myself. The more about myself I know when I come before the gods, the more they'll grant to me. So that's what this represents. So this new energy is represented by an estate. This is where we have to go back to the economics of an estate versus being locked into the economics of capitalism, which is based on individualistic mentality and greed, and I'm gonna get mine and you're not gonna get yours. Now don't get me wrong, if you work harder you're gonna have more than the average person, but we still a community, don't get me wrong. So I mean, it's definitely all about communal living. The feminine energy is, and the feminine principle as far as the way we live economically, but what you put in is what you get out of it. So if you don't put in a lot, you're not gonna get out a lot, you know. But the thing is that manipulation and cheating is really the part that needs to go. There's nothing wrong with playing a game based on the rules that's agreed upon and set by the gods, which is based on universal law. But when you start talking about cheating and stealing and taking something that's not yours, that's not how you play the game. So, like, say for instance, I'm gonna do a whole nother video on sacrifice, so I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But so all of that, so we want to offer the gods the feminine principle. She's like, I don't really want your blood. She's like, I want your water. I want your tears. The only blood I want is the blood that you shed from working. Because she wants to see, she likes a hard working man. I said does. So this is how I have it set up. He's in gold because he represents gold. So she's like, I can offer you whatever based off of, this whole thing is in gold. So she's like, I can offer you whatever you want as far as currency wise, land wise, whatever you need, but you have to give me something that I like. And right now it's dirty here, it's filthy here. So she's not gonna come out. This energy's not gonna come out. So it's interesting. So we need to balance. Definitely need to balance more. We need to basically bring and incorporate earth, air, water, and fire into a ritual, and that's what I did with this altar. So when you make your altar, you have to find something that represents your ancestors. It doesn't have to be statues. The bottom line is you have to represent something that your ancestors have that you want. So you have to find a way to communicate that. So everything in an altar is a way of communicating with your ancestors. So once you have your altar set up and everything like that, then you can stand before your altar. And I'm going to give you an idea of what standing before your altar is truly about. So I stand before my altar and I pick up on the energies. I know you guys probably can't hear me, excuse me. I pick up on the energies that is coming from this altar and it comes towards me. So I stand in front of my altar. And the information that I get, because I pick up on energies or whatever, I pretty much do like an alchemical spell, or I close my eyes, do a prayer or something like that, and I feel what I receive, and then I ask questions with this particular pendulum to my ancestors. So this pendulum was on the altar and it's been charged with the energy of my ancestors. So I have communion with my ancestors, and I do this every day based on the altar that's set up. So I have my communion and things of that nature. Then once I'm done with my communion, put my pendulum down, then I light each candle. Well, before I even light each candle, I move the energy by blowing. So this is an old Sufi way of moving energy. You move energy through your breath, and this incorporates the wind aspect or the air aspect, which is very important in your ritual because you want to move the energy and make sure you cleanse the energy. So some people, you can leave a window open or something like that too as well to incorporate the air aspect. But if you're in a place where you don't have any windows, then you can just use your breath and you blow. Then from there you light your candle. I don't have a lighter with me. You'll light your candles, and then you'll stand before your altar. And you usually what you got to do is you got to leave a note or something. So you'll leave your list for the day of the things that you want, and you leave it in the area of your offerings. And you leave a list of the things that you want. So whatever you listed in your spring equinox ritual, you're going to leave that on your altar. So you always should write a list. It's kind of like those people that do the new moon ritual with me. It's the same situation like that, where you want to leave a list of the things that you want to get out of this ritual, or what you want back. And why you should do this, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this camera. And why you should do this is because of the fact that when you start talking about rituals and ancestors and then God, this is what I believe about God. I believe that God is infinite. I believe that God is intangible. The Most High God is above an idea. God is above a concept. God is no thing. No thing. Which is very important, because when you understand God, God is almost like blackness. So God, or darkness, you would say, well, God is the light. But you can't really say that because of the fact that most likely darkness was there before the abyss is much older than the light. So God is above our wants and needs and the things that we want. So God has assigned angels for that. Archangels, or our ancestors. Some people call them ancestors, or rishas. So these angels are responsible for giving us the things that we want. You may say, well, so God's going to order the angels to give us the things that we want. How can God do that when God has no connection to things? This is why He set up angels. So when God, He's the master architect. He doesn't put his hands. He's not hands on at all. He doesn't put his hands into. When He assigns someone and gives someone a job, He leaves it up to that person to do the dishes. He doesn't get emotionally involved or anything. He gave that particular entity a job, and He leaves universal law in place because He knows that universal law will see to it that person does their duty based on the job that's given. So God just leaves a law in place, or she, if you want to say she, he, it, whatever you see it as, the Most High. So I believe in the concept of the Most High as far as there is a high ideal or creator, that the reason why all this came about. However, we have to make offerings to our ancestors. We have to make offerings definitely during the seasons. Like, we have to reinforce the things that we want, the things that we need. Definitely when the seasons change, because if we don't do this, beloved, we're gonna get left out. We're not gonna get everything that we want on this particular planet, because of the fact that when we start saying we're praying to God, it's not tangible enough. God is not always, the idea and the concept of it is not as old as your ancestors. When you say, and you make an offering, say for instance even to Aset, even to some of the ancestors that are kind of caught up in are locked into the ancestral lines, or the ancestral systems of worship is what I was thinking about. So even the ancestors that are locked into the ancestral systems of worship, they can still you have more of a connection with them. Why? Because these ideas and these energies and these even thought forms, because that's what ancestors are. Ideas, energies, thought forms are much older than the idea and energy of God, which is just force and power. That's one power that the ancestors have. You talk about force, and God is force and power scientifically, and the ancestors have more of a variety. They were called Netiru, nature spirits. They were much more than gods. They were nature. So nature is your highest form of God. So making those offerings is very key and very important. And just setting up your altar and things of that nature. All of that is very important. I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is my offering to you, the free spring equinox ritual. I'm not going to do anything for sale or anything like that. Just build your altar, get creative. You have to realize, like, this spirituality, man, like, this is we are just have been granted an infinite amount of just wisdom, infinite amount of knowledge that can produce millions upon trillions of dollars with this information that we have in metaphysics and spirituality, because you are partaking in a spiritual art and science altogether. So I guess we can kind of call metaphysics a artistic science, because you're partaking. So this is your art. This is how you have to look at it. When you build your altar, this is your art. So you may get the formula on how to do things, on how to draw the picture, and the teacher may tell you, I want you to draw me a picture of a dog, but the teacher may not be specific. It may just say, I want a picture of a dog. So you have to decide what type of dog. You have to decide how big you want the dog to be, how small you want the dog to be, what color you want the dog to be, the color of the eyes, all of that type of stuff. How you going to draw the dog? You're going to draw the whole body of the dog, or you're just going to draw the face? So you have to do the same thing when you start talking about metaphysics and things of that nature. You just have nothing but a bunch of different components laying around, and it's up to you to kind of bring all those components together and make it into an art. So just like I brought all the elements together in this, and even ether, I brought ether into it because I brought myself into it, and my alchemical energy mixing in with this altar, it creates the effect. So I brought all the elements together, but I did that in a creative way. So that's what you have to do. You have to use your imagination to bring all the elements together to build an altar. So I definitely welcome you guys. Like, if you guys decide to build an altar or whatever, I definitely welcome you guys that are maybe possibly friends with me on Facebook and things of that nature to... No, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to say that, because then I'm going to start getting hit with emails and all of that type of stuff. But so I'm not even going to... I was going to say something, but I'm not even going to say that. So the last point I'm going to make is this particular point right here. You have to give something on the outside world based off of when you leave your altar to your ancestors if you want your ritual to work. I've already tried this and it's going to work. So I guarantee you what I'm going to tell you right now is going to work. So you know what you want. You wrote down your list. You did your altar ritual. You can do this. You can go in front of this altar and light the candles and kind of stand in front of it and meditate in front of it and do what you do. You can do this 3 times a day, 5 times a day, as often as you like within this season. But do it more than once. Definitely do it more than once. Like, don't just set up an altar, do it one time and say, I did my spring equinox ritual. Try to consistently come back, or even just leave it set up so you can remember. Try to leave it set up for as long as possible. Or if you can't, you have to do something to remember that you have a ritual going on. You have to continuously keep visiting this until the 17th. Because remember I told you want to keep coming back to this altar to the 17th. Now the last point that I'm going to make is that you want to fast from something for at least 21 days, within 21 days of this ritual. So you want to fast from something. You want to give something of your energy. I've already did this. Like, you might want to withhold semen for a period of time. That's fasting. I mean, for you people out there that are addicted to spilling semen, you might want to withhold that. You might want to stop eating sugar for 21 days. You might want to stop eating all meats for 21 days. But you want to give something that you like. That's the thing. It has to be something that you like for at least 21 days for this ritual. And you want to try to, for 21 days, take on and find a new habit to replace that. So find something good that you really only want to call it a habit, but a routine. Like say for instance, instead of smoking for 21 days, and smoking your cigarettes and stuff like that, you may want to go running for 21 days. So you find it a new ritual to replace that old habit or whatever. Instead of sitting in front of the television after you get off work, and you know you don't have no children, you don't got nothing else to do, instead of sitting in front of the television, you could be out meeting people. Man, why not go out to the gym, and why not go to yoga or something like that? So just find something that you want to give, an energy that you want to give, an offering that you want to make on the outside world so that you can see to it that this comes into existence. So I have a lot of writing on this particular ritual myself, so I have a lot of videos to make, a lot of episodes to make, a lot of work to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, shut this video down. Thank you guys for bearing with me and the photography. And it's definitely reality, spiritual reality TV, because you know, like no music and all of that, just raw and uncut. So as always, so I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll leave you as I came. And Hotep, Namaste, peace, and Wadu.